Good morning and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this morning. Game day at last. Try and put the wrongs of the right of the last week. But can Celtic get the win today? It is a must-win game for Celtic and Brendan Rodgers. And the thing is, it doesn't matter what team Brendan Rodgers puts out at the moment. He just can't seem to get the goals that's required. And not just the goals that's required, but the fluidity of the play. You've had Callum McGregor coming out and saying that, look, team needs time to settle in. Well, to be fair, they've had a bit of time now. It is into October. And it's weird because, strangely enough, Liam Scales and Cameron Carter-Vickers are probably the two players that have maybe excelled over the last month or so compared to everyone else. I mean, they've done their job and, you know, they do what they need to do in defence, but it seems to be in the attacking sense that we're really, really lacking at Celtic. And what does Brendan Rodgers do today to get the team back to winning ways? Because when you look at the league table doesn't lie. Hearts are on 19 points with a game in hand. They've got a goal difference of 10. Celtic are on a goal difference of 7 and on 14 points. League table doesn't lie. If they win, they did win yesterday by a last minute goal. Celtic fans were hoping that they would drop points and make it a little bit easier for Celtic, but no, Hearts are not. And I've got to tell you, they have a striker coming through the system that is going to be, he's going to be the best striker in Scotland. So I haven't seen the video footage of the B team game from yesterday. Jesus, they've got a striker and a half on their books. Celtic have tried to get him, but he's been with them since he was 8-year-old. So. He's in no hurry to leave because his football education has been going in the right direction. But anyway, getting away from Hearts, Celtic need to win because we face Motherwell, who are sitting in 6th position on 8 points. Motherwell will know that they can jump right up into 3rd spot with a win today. The likelihood of Motherwell getting a win at Celtic Park is pretty rare. They have been the draw specialists in the league this season. They've got more draws and a win than Hibernian. Hibernian have got 4 draws and a loss. Is where St Mirren where Motherwell have got 4 draws and a win. So when you look at it, will it be an easy game? I'm not too sure. Motherwell have had 9 goals for and only 7 against this season. 7 against. Celtic are toiling to score goals. Having sold, there's no point in talking about it, is there? We know the goal scorers that we've sold over the last calendar year. When you can go right back to last summer, selling Matt O'Reilly, number of goals that he scored, selling Kyogo Furiashi, the number of goals he scored, and then selling Kuhn and the number of goals that he scored. And then I'm going to say it, even Adam Ida chipped in 20 goals last season from the bench. Can't see this Hearts, can't let this Hearts move run away. This is Celtic lad. I'm going to say something that might upset a lot of Celtic fans. Could this be the season that Hearts get karma for a certain league in the 1980s? I hope not. Early days was, it'll come, yeah, it will come, but Celtic aren't really firing on we can score in a back. That's the issue, and we haven't. I'm not being funny, but obviously I've got my cousin's laddie is going through the system at Hearts. And I see what they're doing. And Celtic are miles behind. And it's a worry. Honestly, it's a worry. They've got a striker on their hands that I think, come the second half of the season, if he makes the jump from the B team into the first team, oh man. I mean, the goal that he took yesterday, way above his years. Way above his years. But anyway, when we look at the rest of the league table, obviously there was a few games yesterday. It didn't impact Celtic too much. Kilmarnock are sitting in 3rd place. Dundee United are sitting in 4th. St Mirren are sitting in 5th. Motherwell were hoping, even if they get a point, it keeps them in the mix for the top 6. Hibernian losing again to Hearts. Rangers will be thinking, if they get a win today, if they get a win and we drop points, they'll be thinking, do you know what? We could be in a race with Celtic for second position in the league. Can Hearts maintain it is the big question. Can Hearts maintain it? I think they can maintain it up until Christmas, and then we'll see what happens then. But it's the same happened with Aberdeen last year. Hearts don't have European football to contend with. So they're in a good place, really, to just completely focus on the league. And let's face it, they've got a manager that's been there and thereabout, teasing, trying to get a club up, fighting to try and take away the title. Could this be the year that comes back to bite Celtic on the bum? I was at the Braga game, says Celtic lad. I swear my eyes were watching a poor man's Braga. Aren't even as good as that, let's be honest here. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how bad Braga were. It's how bad we are. And do you really think that Brendan Rodgers can turn this around? Do you think that Brendan Rodgers... You've got to remember the situation that we have at Celtic now is a bit... let me just put this table up a bit. It is a bit unusual because we're sitting with 2 players minimum that we know that want away from the club. Dice, Maeda and Yang. And then you've got players that can't get even in the team. Brendan Rodgers has got a big decision to make because who does he play from the back? Alistair Johnson isn't too far away when it comes to... and Jemai Simpson-Posey, it still has to be said, why the hell did we get that guy in on loan when he can't even make the bench day? I think it will be Liam Scales and Austin Trusty that will play... And not Austin Trusty. Austin Trusty might even make the bench today. It'll be Cameron Carter-Vickers. Good to see Austin Trusty back in training. But I don't think he's in a position where he will relieve Liam Scales from his duties at this moment. I think that Liam Scales is doing a good enough job at the moment to make sure that he keeps Trusty out the team. If you're agreed that as an elite manager then it's his time to step up, I think that his time to step up was the Braga game, mate. Anthony, I think his game. I think that was the game, and he's playing all his cards. He's changing formation. Every manager goes through it. They lose their spark at some point, and this could be the year that Brendan Rodgers kind of loses his. I mean, if you look at the great Jose Mourinho, I mean, Mourinho won everywhere he went. He's lost that now. I think Brendan Rodgers, this could be... Stephen Johnson. Stephen, all I can say is my dad had prostate cancer. He got it treated. I know that you're a completely different situation, mate. And he got his prostate treated and he's been doing fine the last couple of years. I know that your medical condition goes way beyond that, mate, and really my heart goes out to you. That's all you need at this point in time. So honestly, mate, my heart goes out to you. And it's just unbelievable, pal. It's life is hard and life is shit at times, and I tell you one thing, it's been really throwing its shit at you, mate. I'm really, really saddened to hear that today. But when we need to get back to Celtic, Gary says, I hope Donovan keeps playing. I don't rate Ralston, he's a bomb forward. Turns and passes the back every time, recovers, runs, puts his head down to sprint, now to go faster. When you look at the players that are playing, I mean, a lot of people were giving young Donovan stick the other night, saying it wasn't good enough, but he's only a young lad. I mean, I think that Dane Murray is a player that needs some game time. Will Kieran Tierney be dropped again for Marcelo to come on? When you look at it, it's not... I mean, I see people are now talking about a player that left for nothing. I don't want to talk about players that left in the summer that wanted to go and play somewhere else and didn't fancy putting in the hard work at Celtic, because Greg Taylor had it easy. Greg Taylor had it easy for 5 years at Celtic, and as soon as he gets somebody coming into the team and to put him under a bit of pressure, poof, he panics and he's off. It comes down to the midfield today. The midfield is really where Brendan Rodgers will be tested. He's tried on several occasions to change things up. Hearts are 12-1 for the league title. Might be worth sticking a wee wedge on that in case it's the 40th anniversary. Don't Brown Warrior. I said this at the beginning of the video. I said it. It's 2025. Could this be the year that it comes home to roost? Could this be the karma year? 40 years later. I tell you one thing, if it was to happen, it'll be some run-in to the title. Because I think that for the first time ever in a long time, if that lot across the city get their finger out, there could be a serious title race between three clubs. And people will say, look, that's good for Scottish football. Yeah, it's good for Scottish football. But at the same time, Stephen, there are a lot of people, I know that your computer system won't be able to read out all the comments. Stephen Johnson, you're in my thoughts and prayers. Hope you get well soon, Stephen. Celtic family community. Lots of people. Prayers for you, says Gary. Sad news, Stephen, says Paradise Found. Hoping they do something about it. So there's lots of people reaching out to you, Stephen, wishing you well. Because I know that you like me to read the comments out, because the computer system you've got doesn't read the comments out for you, mate. So there's a lot of support for you on the channel this morning. And changing to a back three was a good change the other night. I thought, come on, it's in Scottish football, we need to be playing 3-5-2. We've got the strikers for it. We've got I will not say we've got the strikers. We've got the squad of players that should be able to play two up front. I mean, you've got Johnny Kenny. You've got Dice Maida, who could play through the middle. You've got Callum Osmond, young player. You've got Shin Yamada. What was the point in bringing Shin Yamada to the club? You've got Kelechi. So there is a number of players there. I mean, you've got four out-and-out strikers. You've got four out-and-out strikers where you could play two, and you can even have one on the bench so that you change it up a bit, because you've got Dice Maida can come on through the middle. So there is I think that Brendan Rodgers needs to change it in Scottish football, because Motherwell and other teams are just going to sit back, and there is no point. There is no point whatsoever having a fullback coming into the midfield, having a midfield player playing that position. Just go for a flat back three and change it up and get two strikers in the middle of the box, Brendan, because that is what's needed. Anyway, in the midfield, who do we think will play today? Will it be Paulo Bernardo? Will Callum McGregor get dropped? Will it be Luke McCowan? Luke McCowan's done fantastic when he's come on in the SPFL. He's got goals in him, and I think that Luke McCowan is a player that, should be utilised more in the SPFL. I got Hearts at 40-1 just over a month ago. Give KT a full season. He hasn't played a full season since he left Celtic. Is sad. Much did you put on Hearts to win the league at 40-1? Oh man, you can see it happening. Honestly, you can. And for the younger generation, go and look up Albert Kidd and Hearts and Celtic 1985. I don't think Motherwell sit back. But will they sit back enough? Will they sit back enough for Celtic to have a real good go? Because that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. But we'll wait and see. I'm not going to try and predict the midfield. I mean, the choices that we have, It doesn't inspire me. Do you know that I'm going to be honest now? Benji's came in and he's not an inspired signing as Benji. Luke McCowan, workhorse. He'll do what he can, and he's a fantastic player to have in the SPFL. He's got a goal or two in him. Arne Engels, £11 million down the drain. That's looking more like. He just hasn't lived up to expectation. Is that the manager? Is that the training? So many other questions that come into the thinking when it comes to Arne Engels and Paulo Bernardo. And then there's Rio Hatate in the midfield. I mean, Rio on his day is an absolutely amazing player. And then there's Callum McGregor. Does Callum need a higher standard of player around about him rather than younger, upcoming? I mean, you would think that Rio Hatate is that person. But is Rio Hatate thinking, do you know what, I'm only here for another half season. I'm wanting out. Do you know, there was a lot of speculation that I thought that they might get rid of him in the last window, but we didn't. There was no offers came in, or that we know of at Celtic. But the transfer window's a long way off, and Celtic have got a shitload of football to play before we can even start to think about what Brendan Rodgers, well, if Brendan Rodgers is here in the next transfer window. So it is 5 hours, 42 minutes and 37 seconds until the game this afternoon. Celtic versus Motherwell at Celtic Park. It is the final game before the international break. International break that was going to see some players coming back into contention. Will Alistair Johnston be back quicker than we think? Can Alistair Johnston be back within the next couple of weeks? Because let's face it, I think that we need Alistair Johnston back in the team. After the international break on the 19th of October, we've got an away trip to Dundee. Who remembers the Dundee riots at Christmas? That wasn't riots. It was just the media going absolutely making shit up. That was a fantastic day. And then we've got Sturm Graz at Celtic Park in the Europa. So looking forward to that. That's another 8 o'clock kickoff on the 23rd of October. And then we head on to the Sunday, the 26th of October. We play Hearts. And if Celtic haven't had a full... if we drop any points whatsoever and allow Heart of Midlothian to increase their lead, they will think, do you know, they just need to keep on winning. They will be thinking, you know, we've got points. You'd rather have, Brendan Rodgers has said it, you would rather have the points. I'm not too sure, Paul, because I'm not too sure whether I'm going to nip into the local boozer and introduce myself. I'll see. There might be a watch along. On our form, we could easily lose today. Yep. Hail from Rotterdam. Hoping for a change today. I think we all are. Peter King says, good morning to everyone. Players fighting for the jersey. Kerry says, what about Bernardo, Benji, Luke or Engels? Just to change it a bit. I've got a funny feeling that the manager seems to be reluctant to drop Callum. And it's very rare for a captain to get dropped because of the experience that he brings. But points in the bank are worth more than predictions. Brown Warrior, they are. And I did say about a month ago, I said, look, if Hearts keep on plodding along, doing what they're doing, do you know, Celtic haven't been in fine form all season. We've never got started, and that's the worry. We're on the 5th of October. We've been playing football since the beginning of August. We've had a pre-season that Brendan Rodgers is meant to work his magic. Brendan Rodgers always talks about, let's have a great pre-season. Let's do all the hard work in pre-season. Come on, Brendan, where's your answers? You know, where is your answers? You can't go on about bringing the players in late into the transfer window. You can't talk about players thinking that they're one out, one in. You know, who's going to change in January? More outgoings, Maeda. Michael, I think that January is going to be one of the worst windows ever for us because I think that we're definitely losing Dyson. Maybe Hatate. We're definitely going to lose Yang. So that's 3 players that need to get in. Minimum. That's not improving the squad. You're still talking, and it's a hard enough window as it is in January. So you're looking at trying to bring in 5 players in January to make us better. And right now we're not. I think that we'll let players go far too easy. And whoever thought up letting... I mean, how do you all feel? I mean, really, how do you all feel now about Adam Ida leaving Celtic? I mean, I know that he's not done anything since he left, but he was a 20-goal scorer striker. Anyway, Celtic will beat them at Tynecastle and the return at Celtic. Ian, do you think so? Because I'm not too sure. It's never an easy game at Tynecastle when you look at it. And then we play Rangers. It's there's a nightmare scenario that could go in. There is a nightmare scenario that going into the end of October, Hearts beat us, we'll get the win against Falkirk. We then play Rangers at Celtic Park on the 2nd of November. And if Rangers take anything from us then, there's a possibility that Rangers could overtake us in the league. I'm just saying, you've got to think of the bigger picture here. I mean, I don't like, and I hate being in this position that we have to. I mean, it's a reality check, and that's all it is. There's a reality check that there is a possibility that Rangers could overtake us in about a month's time in the league. I mean, it's unthinkable to think it just now, and you're thinking, look, Celtic, but we've been saying for long enough. 85-86 season was the best season I can remember, says Brown Warrior, as a Celtic fan. What we did was absolutely amazing. Those last 13-14 games, mental. Yep. God bless Albert Kidd. Yeah, it was an unbelievable season, and I was in second year going into third year at high school. So it is, the 2nd of November is a cup game. So it is. That's even worse, because if they win the cup game, yeah, I've moved to the coast, Peter. If the cup, if they put us out the cup at Hampden, I'm just saying, man, my head's all over the place. We're moving, and it's time to get the head down and go through this rough patch. Could be worse. It could be the Huns. It'll be the wee buns first. 88 was incredible. Yeah, 88 was the best season, really. Doing the double. Anthony says, Baz, if we went 3-5-2, what would be your two up front? My two up front for Celtic, I would go. We need to see how Shin Yamada is. We need to try him as a striker. I would go Kelechi and Shin Yamada. That would, because Callum Osmond is untried and untested at professional level, and he doesn't seem to be bringing anything to the game. Do you know, he's a poor man's Daniel Cummins, I think. My honest opinion. I mean, Daniel Cummins would have been fighting for more game time if he'd stayed, but he's gone, right? So we've got in a poor Daniel Cummins. Shin Yamada and Kelechi up front has to be the two that you would go with. You've got to keep Dyson out in the wing. Dyson's no good through the middle for some reason just now. His head's down, he's not hitting the back of the target. Johnny Kenny on the bench, and then Johnny Kenny to come on for either Shin Yamada or Kelechi. You're not going to change your two strikers. You know, you'd only play with the one striker on the bench, so then that allows you to change the wingers a bit more. But yeah, that's who I would go with. We've got to see what Shin Yamada could do. If he's a goal scorer or not. But then again, Johnny Kenny, according to what the manager said, I mean, according to the manager, Johnny Kenny, he's the best at scoring for 25 yards out. You don't play with wingers with a 3-5-2. You deploy wing backs on the outside backs. I would play with wingers, mate. I would play with the wingers. We don't have the wing backs. We don't have the wing backs to play in the 3-5-2. I would go with the back three. You might not agree with me, but the back three for me is, when he's fit, is Alistair Johnson, Liam Scales and Austin Trusty, or even Dane Murray. but then that takes Alistair Johnson out of the team. So you don't want Alistair Johnson to come out of the team, right? So my back three would be, when he's fit, it'd be Alistair Johnson, Cameron Carter-Vickers and Liam Scales. You tell Scales and Carter-Vickers, do not cross the halfway line unless it's a corner. You tell them, your defenders, you stay the halfway line so that you can get back. Alistair Johnson on the other half, he can then come in. He can then overlap some of the one of the wingers and the midfield just to mix it up a bit. But it gives you a solid three in defence. Alistair Johnson loves going in for hefty tackles. He's not scared. Do you know what I mean? He's an animal in defence, and I think going forward it gives us that little option in the midfield. I would go with. You're going to have Callum sitting in the midfield. I would have Paolo Bernardo and Luke McCowan in the midfield. I'd drop Rio Hatate and then I'd play two wingers. The wingers, you're going to play with Dice and Maeda, and then it's who's best. You need to fit. It is a case of who's best, isn't it? Balwisha. I'd even put Tenecti. But then he's a fullback and you're playing him in midfield. Yeah, I'd maybe even put Tenecti up there rather than one of the wingers. No, I'm thinking about Marcelo. Tenecti, I would play Tenecti in the midfield. I would play... I mean, do you play Michelangelo? Nah, your ultimate midfield is going to be Jota, Tenecti, McCowan, Paolo Bernardo and Callum McGregor. That's my midfield five. And then the two up front, I'm going to go with Kelechi and Yamada. We need to see what Yamada can do. But then again, thank goodness I'm not the manager. Anyway, Donovan looks like he can hit the byline. Yeah, there's lots for the manager to think about. I am an Adamida fan. I agree with you. He's got 19 goals minus from the bench, letting Kyogo Kun rely. It's unbelievable. I cannot think of a team that you can think of European teams that have a conveyor belt of players. And under Ange Postecoglou, you could say, right, we kind of had that conveyor belt of players. With a conveyor belt of players that, you know, when one player left, there was one already made there. But we don't have that just now. Letting all those players go in such a short time at Celtic has been absolutely criminal. Never mind unforgivable. It was criminal at Celtic. Anyway, that's us done and dusted for this morning. It's been a good to be chat. My thoughts and thoughts of a lot of people on the channel are going out to Stephen Johnson, who this morning says that he now has prostate cancer as well as everything else. My heart goes out to you, mate, and there's a lot of people in the comments as well. We will do a score prediction when we come on. Well, Stephen, he gets called Kells by the manager. So you can either call him Kells, you can call him Kelechi, which is his name, or you can call him whatever you want. Anyway, on that note, have a fantastic day, and I'll see you an hour and a half before kick-off